Are you ready? Are you ready to play video games?
Alright, welcome to another episode of GWD. Sorry about yesterday's 40-minute long episode, and I didn't think there was that many cutscenes, I swear to God. I totally fucking forgot about it. So, anyway, I just went, I was just inside the house, I put away bunches of, back to the top 100 RPG list.
Hey Meg, you better treat her
And,
right, or you'll have to answer
one that I found interesting was that 72 Paper Mario, which, I mean, I fucking loved playing.
So you're finally going to invite me? Come on, cut that. Don't be talking to me.
I don't want to take you, because you take my money, bitch.
Those 8th Imperial Army troops.
But the Paper Mario at 72 actually was a quaint surprise, and I actually was really happy it made it on there. And then once again, you know, another indie game that I fucking love just watching and looking at is Undertale.
That was a real mess, a big headache.
XCOM, enemy on. I mean, as much as I don't like. I personally don't like that one on the list because I don't like. Whoa.
Looks like the job's been assigned. Oh, really?
I don't usually.
So unfair to Ep5. I've heard of plans to build a railroad on the continent.
With Undertale, I mean, or no, XCOM enemy on loan at 66. It's not that big of a deal to me.
A railroad, huh? It's called Operation Rail Link.
With XCOM enemy on, just not that big of like the board tactics thing.
That would be a real international.
It's not my thing. I'm not into it. And the story in XCOM isn't that interesting. Lars loves that game.
Welcome.
So, I mean... Lars loves XCOM enemy on me personally. I can't.
Thanks, Meg.
I can't figure it out personally. What's so much like about it? And Witcher 2. That's kind of on defense for me whether or not it should be this high up. I mean, I like The Witcher 2. Don't get me wrong, but there's just some things I don't get about it. I mean, I'm not gonna you know.
Thanks, Meg.
Like, don't get me wrong. You know, I like The Witcher. I love The Witcher 3. Witcher 3 should have been
Thanks, Meg.
Damn it.
A little shot.
Witcher 3 I felt should have been #1 on the list. Period. But it just didn't work out that way, you know?
Thanks, Meg.
So, I mean... And Chrono Cross being... Chrono Cross, I will admit, is a hard game to get with the elements tie-in that it has. I like it, but I don't feel I often get it. If that makes sense to you people. I mean, I'm not gonna, you know... But, I mean, there's just so much going on in that game, too. It's just...
With the Sea Otter seaplane.
Yes. But with so much stuff going on in that game in terms of story and whatnot, it can be hard to get behind. There's just a lot more in it than there was in Chrono Trigger, even. Dragon Age Inquisition, a lot of people like that. I didn't play it, so I'm not... I don't know. Fable 2, I didn't think Fable... For me, a lot of the Fable game was, there just wasn't much to any of them. I mean, they seemed like, you know, all the things that were promised were not delivered upon. So for me, Like, if you're going to put the Fable games on the list, you should have just put the, you should have just put the one that made the mechanics the best that they were, and that was 3, in my opinion. Because neither 1 or 3, only Fable 2 is on here, and it's at 56. Even that, for any of the Fable entries, is kind of high. Skystar Arcadia, I remember hearing about. Oh, shit. Where's Lenny? Oh, she's just so... No! No! Don't tell me I'm gonna die! I thought I worn off, god damn it! Greg is paralyzed. Star Ocean is second star. I remember seeing my friend play Star Ocean. That's her turn. Yeah, being unparalyzed is a turn, unlike in Pokemon. But once again, it's just one of those. In any RPG, you just gotta get used to the way the mechanics are designed, obviously. But Star Ocean, the second story, I remember seeing my friend play it, and he often had issue with the way that the he was at the end game, and it was like you faced. There was 9. Oh, crit! They got a crit. That's pretty funny. They got a crit. I can't believe it! I can't believe it! But I mean, it just. Oh, there's really not much I can do. Might as well. But yes, so the way that the final boss battle in Star Ocean, the second story, was described to me was you face 3. You face the 3, the 9 bosses. In groups of 3. Halt. So, so you faced the bottom 3 first, and you faced them all at one time, and it was hard. And then,
There you are.
you faced the next 3. All at the same time, and that was the point that he got up to, and he can never get past that second grouping of 3. And then I think he just kind of moved on to another game and never really picked it back. I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen the guy since middle school, so I unfortunately I can't answer whether or not he beat it or not. But I mean, the graphics look cool. You get to ride a dragon in it before you do it in Coney... whatever. Shit, he caught me. That new cutesy, artsy-fartsy looking RPG that some people seem to be in love with. And I mean, that's fine, but yeah. Elder Scrolls, for me personally, the Elder Scrolls game are just the start of that trend of games where like there's a lot in it, but there's not a lot to it. Are you kidding me?
What?
Oh, look at that. One-shot KO from the frying pan, bug. Why don't you suck on it? But yeah, I never could get really involved in the Elder Scrolls game. Even when Skyrim came out, and a lot of guys were like, "Oh, it's so cool," but you sit down, you actually, like when I sat down to play the Elder Scrolls game, for me it was, or Skyrim, for me it was just like, oh, it wasn't really that big a deal to me. I was just like, it's interesting. It's an interesting. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on, but they never actually connect the dots. Like they threw the dots in the game, and they're there. And like for some people, it's like, oh, well, you can make the backstory of your character whatever you want it to be. You can do this, but like the side there's such an expansive story, but it seems like there's such an expansive story because you're filling in a lot of story. And that's what seems like it for me. Like I don't mind. A lot of people like that. They're like, oh, you can make your character yourself, and in some ways it's cool. But I mean, I don't mind the Commander Shepard basically way of doing it, where you're playing the game yourself. I actually like a good story. I'd much rather have an immersive story like in most of the Final Fantasy games. Wait, did he step forward?
There you are.
I thought I was doing a spell to make them step back. Yeah. Suck it.
There you are.
And next on the list, the next game I never really played Dragon Quest or Dragon Warrior. Basically those more Enix style than Square. If I had known about the divide between Squaresoft and Enix and Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy in the 90s, I totally would have been a Squaresoft guy and be like, oh no, Final Fantasy all the way. 9. If I was to put any Final Fantasy on a list, it'd be fucking 9. There'd be no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Probably my list would probably be Final Fantasy 9, and then The Witcher 3 at 2, and then at 3. Maybe Kingdoms of Amalur. That's another one I would have liked to see on this list, but I don't think it made it. More so because not because it was a bad game in of itself, but more so because it was the only game from that studio, and now that studio has more well known for being Kurt Schilling basically being like, I'm a dick, you can suck it, bitch. Then the one good game they made, Pokemon Gold. The next game I know is Pokemon Gold and Silver at 50. That I would have put higher, particularly since Red and Blue is pretty close to the top. I think it's in the top 10, maybe top 15 at the lowest. But I mean, that came. Oh yeah, that came out on Game Boy Color, didn't it? But I mean, Bandana. Yeah. I think. Oh. Okay. Well, just in case. But I mean, Gold and Silver took the mechanics of the Pokemon series, and that's where I felt they were great. before getting too bogged down with too many mechanics. I mean, oh, sorry, moving my leg into a more comfortable position. Oh, I didn't get the preamp. I thought I did. You bitch.
Yow!
Yow. What am I? Oh yeah, so you know, Pokemon Gold and Silver with the berries and with the gameplay, and the fact that you could go, you had the new region, but you could still go to the old region in it. Made it a much better game for me than Red and Blue. I like Red and Blue, and I think Red and Blue deserve to be on the list. And I've noticed that those are the only Gold and Silver and Red and Blue are the only two Pokemon entries on the list. Like, you know, you don't have Crystal and Diamond, I think, and X and Y, or Sun and Moon, and all that. Those are only. So this list kind of seemed more like oh, well, what do you like? Oh, what, you know, what tickles? What are the hips? What are the hip people saying? And I was like, is that really the way you wanna represent your franchise, your team here, folks? But I mean, yeah. Once again, oh, I forgot how powerful that. Well, maybe I did upgrade to level 3, but I don't know. But Zelda, I was surprised at that one. Zelda. I mean, if you're gonna put a Zelda game on the list, you might as well include all the other Zelda games too, right? Because you know, Zelda, if Breath of the Wild is an RPG, then all the other ones are definitely RPG. I mean, I think the only difference between Breath of the Wild and the other Zeldas in terms of RPG is the item management, and then that you know, your items have wear and tear, so that's what separates the two. Shouldn't the other Zelda's Legend of Zelda games be on here too? I mean, you know, a lot of people would say that Seasons and Ages are the greatest Zeldas there are. So, I mean, you know, just putting that out there, folks. But I mean, I will admit, Breath of the Wild has gotten me excited enough that if I had a job that actually paid me right now, I would get a Switch and I would get Breath of the Wild. That's how good it looks to me. I would get a Switch just to get Breath of the Wild. Lars called me crazy, but I mean, apparently I'm not the only one. It looks like Breath of the Wild is selling out the Switch. I think more copies were sold of Breath of the Wild than they were of Switches with all the. And then we have the Souls games at 46, which I think I talked about. Mass Effect 3 at 45. Mass Effect 1 appeared earlier in the list. No! Whoa. Oh. This is where the game actually starts getting difficult. Yay! I mean, for me, in the modern day era of
There you are.
RPG, the Souls games are closer to RPGs for me than anything else.
Yeah, I'm powered up.
It is, you know, with the item management in the early ones, and the dungeon crawling. Because let's face it, it's all one big dungeon. And the fact that you have to find out your enemy's weak points and... No! Not linear. I was about to call her Colette because she looks a lot like Colette from Tales of Symphonia, but she's not. No! So... Mass Effect 3 at 45.
There you are.
I haven't played 3 yet. I don't know why. Like, honestly, I just don't know why I haven't played 3 yet. I beat 1, I beat 2. So I don't know why I haven't beat 3 yet. It's just one of those things I haven't done yet, unfortunately. I actually beat 1 twice, because I was like, I went through with a male shepherd. Or actually, I went through with the female shepherd first, doing the Paragon path. And then I went through again with male shepherd, doing more of a renegade. Although I didn't realize that, you know, the choice mission, the only difference in background was that there's a special, there's one special mission that doesn't change, and if I'd known that, I would have changed my background. But other than that, it's pretty neat. No, that was a pretty cool game. Although I did fuck up with the male shepherd because I wanted to sleep with Ashley. And I kept on suggesting threesome, and she got pissed at me. And Laria was like, you could be a pervert, it's cool. I was like, God damn it, Laria. I mean, God damn it, Ashley. Just give me the puss. So, I kind of screwed myself on that one, but... You know, it happens. I'm not going to say anything about Fire Emblem because I played about 5 seconds of the one that Ike's in. And that was only because I really like Ike. And Lars happened to have the game that he was in on GameCube. And I got 5 seconds in and I was just like... Or, you know, I did like the prologue battle and I was just like, it's not really interesting to me. You know, it's a cool game. It's a neat concept and all that. You know, a lot of... once again, I know that Lars particularly is like, I don't like games where you have to... which one did I attack? No, I'm gonna go for it.
Wham! Bam!
Hopefully that does it. Yes. But Lars was just like, oh, I don't really like games where there's permadeath. It's like, it's just a different strategy. It's like, well, how would you like it in Final Fantasy VII if you knew that you didn't play, like, if you played through Caution to Win, you know, you had permadeath. And I was like, I mean, in 7 there's kind of permadeath with Die Bitch. But I mean, that... You're right, I probably wouldn't play the game, but I mean... You know... That doesn't make it any less of a good game. You know? But... It's just weird, stupid stuff like that. Xenosaga, Xenogear, and lots of Xenos on this list.
There you are.
How do you mess with a gun, you dumb fuck? Oh, okay. Whoops. System Shock 2 is on here. When I saw Final Fantasy X at 35, I was like, oh my gosh, like half the half the list is gonna be is gonna be like
I can't believe it.
it is gonna be is going to be Final Fantasy. That's awesome. I can get down with that. And we start going through the rest of the list, and I was like, I think there's 3 Final Fantasies, maybe 4 ahead of it. 4, I think there's 4. Tactics, 4, 6, 7. Yeah, there's 4 ahead of it. And I mean, I haven't played much of the Nintendo ones, so 1 through 6. But I mean, 4, I was kind of like, that's not really that great. Fallout New Vegas, I didn't think was more of an expansion pack of 3 than its own standalone game. But I mean, a lot of people liked it. But I mean, once again, if you're gonna put out Fallout 3 and New Vegas on here, why didn't you put 4? Because that seemed to be the one where like all the mechanics were tightened up and they were everything went well together, and like why wasn't that one put on here? But you know, personal opinion, Diablo 3 is on here. At launch, a lot of people complain about it, but now people are kind of like, it's all right. I haven't heard anyone be like crazy about it. Lars, well, actually, before I forget, see you tomorrow. We'll continue talking about RPGs.